pray together in our heart. Pray begin. Pray selesai. Before we begin our lesson, I want to call you one by one. Who has present today? Please raise hand up. Okay. Habib, present. Sandra, present. Akbar, present. Alisa, Mutia, six. Okay. Get well soon for her. So before we begin our lesson today, I want to read about learning objective. The first is learning objective from aqidah education is first, read and explain the main school of kalam. Second, distinguish the main points of flow in the science of kalam. Third, apply a tolerant attitude towards the currents in everyday life well. So, move to our lesson today about understanding the stream in kalam and its character. The first, in my file, there are 7 genres about understanding the stream in kalam and character. Now, before we move into our material today, I want to give you one by one, and please stick on the wall to make three maps, peta konsep ya artinya ya. Please nanti kalian nempel di dinding, stick on the wall. So you must all of you to make a concept map on the wall after you stick this paper. Okay. The first is Akbar. So this is the sticky notes for you. Please itu So after that Mas Adib, so Mas Chandra and the last Mbak Alisa. After Mas Akbar nanti Mas Habib, so Mas Chandra and the last Mbak Alisa. Bisa dibantu untuk stick. From object A, B, C. Ada sini juga. A, taruh sini. Terus kedua B. Ya, taruh sini. Thank you Mas Akbar. Selanjutnya Mas Habib. Yang Ibu bantuin. Terus yang Mbak, ini. Thank you Mas Habib. Selanjutnya Mas Tantra. Tantra di sini. Iya. Thank you Mas Tantra. Kelas Mbak Alisa. Mbak Lisa. Okay, we then we make our concept map on the wall. So now we move into our material today. Now, Miss want to explain about our material. The title is Understanding the Stream in Kalam and its Character. There are seven genre. The first is Khawarij genre, second Murji'ah genre, third Syiah genre, fourth Jabariyah genre, fifth Qadariyah genre, six Mu'tazilah genre, and seven Ahlus Sunnah wal Jamaah or Sunni genre. Now, introduction about understanding the stream in Kalam and its character is aqidah is the core of Islamic education, which is the purpose of sending the prophet to this earth. This aqidah education was brought by every prophet and messenger along with the spread of Islam on the earth. Then aqidah education was never neglected because the Islam that was spread by the prophet was Islam that was still pure or still intake, namely wholeness in Islam. Then faith and Islam and ihsan. In the history of development of Islamic thought, there are various schools of thought of kalam, namely Khawarij, Murji'ah, seperti apa on the wall, Khawarij, Murji'ah, Syiah, dan bla 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 bla, Mu'tazilah and Asy'ariyah, and so on, basing their views and opinion on the two sources of Islamic teaching from the Quran and Al-Hadith. So, the first about Khawarij genre, who when Mas Akbar stick on the wall on this case, this is about Khawarij genre. Nah, Khawarij genre is used by Muslim to refer to a group of people who came out on the rank of Ali bin Abi Thalib. Second, basic teaching the Khawarij genre itu consider the name comes from the basic word kharaja found in the Al-Quran, An-Nisa 100, which refers to person who leaves his house to emigrate in the way of Allah and His Messenger. The third, doctrine in general, the main teaching of this group are that Muslims who commit major sins are infidel. So, the Khawarij figure were Abdullah bin Wahab al-Rashidi, the leader of the group when they gathered at Harura, the first Khawarij leader, Urwa bin Hudayr, terus the third Mustarid bin Sa'ad, fourth Hausara al-Asadi, and many others. So, the second is about Murji'ah genre. Nah, Murji'ah genre itu definitionnya is come from the Arabic word arja ayarji'u. The means is to postpone or postpone. This sect is called Murji'ah because in principle they delay the resolution of the political conflict between Ali bin Abi Thalib, Muawiyah bin Abi Sufyan, and the Khawarij to the day of reckoning in the hereafter. The teaching doctrine according to Murji'ah genre has four main teaching. The first is postponing the punishment. The second, leave the decision to Allah over the sinners of Muslim. Third, putting importance faith from charity. And the last, giving hope to Muslims who have sinned greatly to obtain Allah forgiveness and mercy. Nah, moderate Murji'ah figures include Hasan bin Muhammad bin Abi Thalib, Abu Hanifah, Abu Yusuf, and several hadith experts. So, meanwhile, the extreme of Murji'ah include the Jahmiyah group is followers of Jaham bin Sofwan. This group is the opinion that even if a person declares himself or polytheist, that person is not punished as a kafir. So, the third is Syiah genre. Syiah genre The definition is a short from the historical phrase Syiah Ali, which means followers of Ali. The second doctrine from Syiah genre is namely Tauhid, Al-Adl, An-Nubuwah, Al-Imamah, Sodalas, Al-Ma'ad. So, about Jabariyah genre itu language understanding comes from the word Jabaro, which means to force and require him to do something. So the basic teaching of understanding Jabariyah school explained in the Al-Quran, Al-Insan and the Al-Quran As-Saffat 1996, where it is Allah who created you and what you do. So the doctrine teaching itu there are two character. The first is extreme flow and the second is the moderate stream. The extreme flow is the main character, namely Jaham bin Sofwan. The extreme Jabariyah doctrine say that humans are weak, helpless, bound by the power and will of God. So the second, the moderate stream, the main character in this moderate stream itu Husain bin Muhammad and Najar. So I want to explain about the Qadariyah genre. The Qadariyah genre itu definition, this flow emphasize the freedom and power of human in realizing their action. The main character of Qadariyah are Ma'bad al-Juhani and Gailan al-Dimashqi. The basic teaching in the Al-Quran. First, they are used as the basic for understanding Qadariyah in Ar-Ra'd 11 verse. Indeed, Allah doesn't change the condition of people until they change the condition of themselves. The teaching doctrine of the Qadariyah says there are two character. The first, that Allah is one and only in the heart, that Allah doesn't have eternal qualities. And the second, the Qadariyah believe that the human mind is able to know what is good and what is bad. So, Mu'tazilah genre, the definition of Mu'tazilah is which means to separate. And the founder of the Mu'tazilah school is Wasil bin Atta. And Mu'tazilah is one of the school of thought in Islam that is heavily influenced by Western philosophy, so that its aims to use reason are the basis of argumentation. So the doctrine teaching from Mu'tazilah genre, there are five character. The first is At-Tauhid. Tauhid itu keesaan Tuhan. Terus the second is Al-Adl. Al-Adl itu keadilan. Terus the third is Al-Wa'ad wa Al-Wa'id. The means is promise and treat, itu perjanjian dan apa namanya, kebiasaan. Terus the fourth is al-manzilah bain al-manzilatain, position between position, posisi di antara posisi. Terus the last is amar ma'ruf nahi mungkar. Amar ma'ruf nahi mungkar, the means is mengajak kepada kebaikan dan menghindari kemungkaran. So the last is Ahlus Sunnah wal Jamaah, or we call Sunni genre. The last, I want to explain about Sunni genre. Sunni genre itu from followers of the Sunnah or etiquette of the Prophet and his companions. The main character who are also the founder of the school are Abu al-Hasan al-Ash'ari and Abu Mansur al-Mutaridi. So Sunni genre has two character. The first is has two genre. The first is Ash'ariyah genre and the second is Maturidiyah genre. The first, Ash'ariyah genre. The definition of Ash'ariyah is an understanding of the faith attribute to Abu Hasan al-Ash'ari. Maksudnya adalah pengertian tentang perjuangan dan mengikuti mengikuti kehidupannya Abu Hasan al-Ash'ari. So the second doctrine Ash'ariyah genre, first is attribute of God, the Quran and see God. The means is mengikuti Allah, mengikuti Al-Quran dan melihat Allah, melihat Tuhan gitu. So the second Maturidiyah genre. Maturidiyah genre, the definition of Maturidiyah is the flow of kalam talk that adheres to the decision of the mind in the matters that don't conflict with the Syara. On the other hand, if it's against the Sharia, then the mind must submit of the Sharia decision. And the doctrine of Maturidiyah genre is reason and revelation, yang artinya alasan dan perhubungan. So human action, perilaku manusia. So the nature of God, jiwa Tuhan, dan see God itu melihat Tuhan. So the conclusion about understanding the stream in kalam and its character is, from the description above, we can understand that Islam has been present as a pioneer in the birth of thought, that until now we can find all of them, almost all over the world. Maksudnya dari definisi yang Ibu bacakan tadi, yang ada beberapa genre, yaitu Khawarij, Syiah, Sunni, Maturidiyah, Jabariyah, Qadariyah, itu di dalam Islam itu sebenarnya sudah ada di Indonesia, bahkan di luar negeri sebelum agama Islam ada pun pengertian-pengertian kalam ini ataupun beberapa aliran-aliran yang sebelum Islam datang itu sudah ada di seluruh dunia. Terutama ini hadir beberapa aliran tuh di negara timur seperti Arab, seperti di Yunani, seperti di Turki dan lain-lain, di negara timur pokoknya ya. So itu udah hadir duluan sebelum Islam datang. Itu udah juga hadir udah pada zaman Rasulullah kayak gitu. So this can also be used as an excuse that Islam as it encountered in his history is not as narrow as it is generally understood, because Islam based on the Al-Quran and Sunnah can relate to the growth of the wider community. Nah, the means is, itu maksudnya dari aliran-aliran kalam tadi itu memiliki histori yang tersendiri, seperti tadi kayak Khawarij itu Khawarij itu tadi tentang siapa saja pengikut Ali bin Abi Thalib gitu kan. Terus habis itu dari setiap aliran-aliran itu yang beberapa genre itu dia memiliki basic teaching itu tuh seperti dasar-dasar ilmu pengetahuannya. Seperti yang tadi Khawarij itu berdasarkan An-Nisa ayat 100, terus Syiah genre itu juga berbeda, dasar-dasar alirannya seperti apa kayak gitu. Nah, jadi tetapi dari beberapa aliran tersebut mereka tuh memiliki satu landasan tersendiri, tetapi juga memiliki dasar yang kuat, yaitu mengikuti Al-Quran. Tetap mereka semua aliran-aliran tersebut memiliki dasar yang kuat dari Al-Quran dan As-Sunnah, dan mereka baru membuat landasan mereka sendiri ataupun aliran mereka sendiri, seperti ya tadi kayak Ahli Sunnah wal Jamaah itu tentang itikad dan para Ahli Sunnah wal Jamaah. Terus yang kedua itu Mu'tazilah itu adalah untuk i'tizal, untuk mempengaruhi pemikiran-pikiran filosofis yang ada di barat kayak gitu. Nah, before we end our lesson today, I want to ask you to all of you is Mas Tantra and Mr. Tantra and Mrs. Alisa. First, I want to ask Mr. Tantra, how many genre understanding the stream in kalam?
Syiah, Murji'ah, Khawarij, Jabariyah, Qadariyah, Mu'taziliyah, Sunni.
Okay, thank you, Mas Tantra. Please clap for his. So The last I want to ask Miss Mbak Alisa, explain doctrine Syiah genre in the Quran.
Tauhid, al-aqdah, an-nubuwah, al-imamah.
Okay, thank you Mbak Alisa. Please clap for her. Okay, thank you, and that's it